Oscar Piastri talks about what might need to happen in order for them to have conversations about preferential treatment. Esteban Ocon gave us some insights into the impacts of the driving standards guidelines, and Gabriel Bortoleto told us that he did something at the F1 movie premiere that surprised me. Here is part 2 of the interesting things that we learned from the Austrian F1 drivers press conference during media day. Starting with Bortoleto, he feels like the team are moving in the correct direction, especially after the upgrades, and he was asked about the Brazilian fans being understanding of where he is at right now within F1. He said that Brazilian fans are very emotional people, but that's what he loves about his country. And there are fans who understand what's going on and they just expect him to improve over time. But there are also fans who don't really understand what goes on within F1, and so they're looking back at history and just expecting him to replicate what Senna did. But at the end of the day, he doesn't really mind these comments, he's just doing the best he can. Moving on to Ocon, he said that P9 in Canada wasn't that much of a surprise because they knew their race pace was pretty decent. However, overall the team are trying to improve their consistency. He believes that because the teams are so close, if your car doesn't suit the track, you have no chance during qualifying, although you do have a little bit of one during the race. Interestingly, he also said that he feels like the TV really flattens the elevation changes, so if you're able to ever go to a race which has got some good elevation changes, definitely take the opportunity. Furthermore, they were all asked about the guidelines that were made public this week, and Ocon feels like it is a really good thing to have them because it makes things more transparent. Also, he believes that they can help to reduce the time it takes for a decision to be made, which is a good thing because it's pretty stressful waiting for a result. Meanwhile, Piastri wanted to point out that these are not rules, they're guidelines because you can't plan for every single situation. And he seemed to really want to highlight that you can't use this as a black and white document. However, it will give clarity to drivers. Furthermore, Bortoleto and Ocon were asked about the F1 movie premiere, and Ocon said it was a crazy experience, especially because he grew up watching Spider-Man, but he had never been to New York City, so it was really cool to see his two worlds kind of come together. Meanwhile, Bortoleto said something similar, but he also said that he didn't watch the movie in New York, he only watched it in Monaco, but he does think people will really enjoy it. Lastly is Piastri. As I'm sure you would have expected, he was asked about the incident between himself and Norris in Canada. He said it is all good between the two of them and there have been no changes to the papaya rules since the incident. Furthermore, he seemed to be saying that he feels like McLaren are handling the battle pretty well. And along the same vein, he feels like his teammate battle is very different to Mark Webber's battle in 2010, and as we know, Mark Webber is his manager, and that's primarily because the dynamics and their careers are very different. Also, he said that the situation would have to change dramatically for them to have a talk about preferential treatment. So as of right now, he isn't even willing to enter into those talks, he just wants fair treatment.